So here we are, step 8, structuring your speech and essay. Your job here is to organize your information in its most logical or most conducive way to understanding things. So I have 3 examples: lunch, dinner, breakfast, dinner, lunch, breakfast, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Depending on your topic, the order, the first 2, lunch, dinner, breakfast, and dinner, lunch, breakfast, they don't seem to make a whole lot of sense because we don't eat it in that order. But maybe it would under the circumstances of, including eggs in your diet. Maybe eggs at dinner. That should be something that should be first on your list, because that would be the most interesting. Everyone knows that eggs are great for breakfast, so that could be some of the last information that you introduce. So maybe the middle example is better. Or if you're going to talk about general nutrition, I guess breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that last one, maybe that's the best thing. My point here is that there are generally 7 types of speech structure, but that doesn't mean these are the only ones. Your structure of your essay is up to you, and it's going to be a function of your eloquence and what kind of a writer you are. So the first thing I have is talking about the parts of something. And my example here is if we're talking about the wheels, frame, and gears, most of my students say, "Oh, it's a car." But actually, we're leaving out some things if it's a car. What we're going for here is a bicycle of some sort. And we think about the wheels, the size of it, the shape of them. The frame, does a bike have a shock absorber in it? Does it have 2 shock absorbers on it? The gears, yes, cars have gears too, but believe it or not, a bicycle has more gears. Some bikes have 22, 24 gears. If we were talking about a car, we left out the engine. That's got to be one of the most important parts of a car, along with maybe the body, because, based on the shape of the car, whether it could be a truck, it could be an SUV, a sedan, and so on and so forth. All right, let's go to the next slide. Here we are, step 1, continued 1. Classification. So we're talking about the best types of restaurants in a given neighborhood. If we're talking about how things are similar, we're comparing things. If we're talking about things, how things are different, that's we're contrasting things. If we give or are given an assignment where we're supposed to compare and contrast things, well, then you have to do both. Well, then maybe your structure there is broken, where you have 2 paragraphs that show how these 2 things are unique and different, and then 1 paragraph that maybe it's a little bit longer than the others, that show us how they are similar. Okay, but if you have a compare and contrast assignment, you have to do both. Otherwise, you risk losing half the credit. Cause and effect. Not wearing a bike helmet can lead to brain damage. That seems kind of absurd, but this is also what we call a logical fallacy here. Well, there's a bunch of conditions involved with not wearing a bike helmet leading to a serious injury like brain damage. More than likely you would have to be on a bike. Number 2, you would have to be falling off of it, or being somehow, whether an accident with a vehicle or just falling off it. But the point here is that something's going to cause another, and you have to make sure you have all those causes so that all of your effects make sense. Going ahead, this is the last one. Problem solution. Here's another type of a similar problem. Landfill waste can only be effectively reduced through recycling. All right, well then what's your body going to be about? All right, the problem of using landfills for our garbage. Maybe the second body paragraph would be the things we've tried in the past, like burning it or dumping it in the ocean or something along those lines. And then finally, maybe our third body paragraph is we've tried all these different things. The only thing that's going to work is recycling. So we go through the steps of the problem, the things that we've done to address the problem, and then we have our solution. Finally, we have a series of events. And yes, based on what we've done so far, there are 3 steps in developing a speech. They are gathering materials, audience analysis, and structuring. So I have only a couple examples of speech structuring here. And again, it's up to you to make things fit together.